The evening buzzed with energy as the audience filled the iconic red chairs of the Graham Norton Show. Prince Harry's name alone had sent ticket sales into overdrive. For weeks, the BBC had promoted the appearance as a refreshingly open and personal conversation, a rare moment where Harry would sit down with one of Britain's most beloved talk show hosts on home soil. It was his first official television appearance in the UK since his explosive memoir Spare and the Netflix docuseries that divided royalists and critics alike. Harry walked onto the stage to a standing ovation, visibly moved by the warm reception. He shook hands with Graham Norton and exchanged polite greetings with the night's other guests, including a British pop star and a famous comedian. For a few minutes, it seemed the segment would unfold like any other: light banter, laughter, cheeky remarks. Harry even joked about his ginger beard being the only crown I've got left, drawing a mix of laughs and applause. But Graham Norton, known for his sharp wit and ability to pivot from humor to hard-hitting topics without warning, wasn't planning to let the night stay superficial. As the conversation shifted from life in California to his relationship with the media, Norton casually leaned forward and asked, "You've said the press hurt you deeply, but isn't there a contradiction in stepping away from royal life only to constantly stay in the spotlight?" The atmosphere shifted. Harry blinked, the smile on his face fading slightly. "It's not about staying in the spotlight," he replied, voice measured. "It's about using my platform differently. Telling my story instead of having it told for me." Norton nodded. "But don't you think some might see it as monetizing that trauma? The Netflix deal, the book, the podcast." Harry cut in sharply. "What you call monetizing, I call surviving. I didn't grow up with the luxury of choice. I was born into a machine. And when I finally stepped out of it, the world criticized me for not being quiet enough." The studio fell silent, sensing the rising tension. Graham, still calm but clearly not backing down, responded, "But you do have a choice now, don't you? And you chose to share very private details about your family, on global platforms. How is that different from what the press did to you?" Harry leaned forward, his tone tightening. "The difference is consent. The difference is that I own my story now. What I endured behind palace walls wasn't just inconvenient, it was soul-destroying. And if speaking my truth makes people uncomfortable, maybe they should ask why." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Norton glanced at his producers nervously, then continued, "I'm not here to vilify you, Harry. But some would say that dragging your family through the mud publicly, even if justified, doesn't help reconciliation." Harry stared back coldly. "You think reconciliation is possible when the institution still leaks to the tabloids? When they protected others but wouldn't protect my wife and me?" Norton opened his mouth to respond but was cut off. "You know what?" Harry stood abruptly. "I came here thinking maybe British media had evolved. Clearly, I was wrong." A collective gasp echoed through the audience. Graham attempted to salvage the moment with a lighthearted quip. "Well, I guess we lost one royal guest faster than you can say, Megxit," but the attempt at humor fell flat. Harry, clearly done, removed his mic, tossed it onto the coffee table, and strode off stage without looking back. The cameras kept rolling for a moment, then quickly cut to a commercial break. In the chaos backstage, producers scrambled while staff tried to intercept Harry before he reached the exit. The rest of the evening's episode aired as planned, minus Harry's segment, but the damage was already done. Social media exploded within minutes. Clips of the confrontation were uploaded, dissected, and debated. Some viewers hailed Harry's exit as powerful and principled. Others accused him of being overly defensive and unwilling to answer difficult questions. For the first time in the show's history, Graham Norton didn't return for his usual closing segment. The final shot was a wide camera pan over the silent audience, still stunned by what had unfolded. What had begun as a long-anticipated return turned into a nationally televised standoff, one that would dominate headlines around the world by morning. Backstage, the atmosphere was electric, and not in a good way. Staff members moved quickly, some with earpieces buzzing with instructions, others frozen in shock. A senior producer tried to catch up with Harry, who was already being escorted toward a private exit by his personal security. No one could believe what had just unfolded. Graham Norton stood near the stage curtain, uncharacteristically quiet, watching the chaos unfold. "Did that just happen?" one of the show's junior assistants whispered to another. Yes, it had. Prince Harry had just walked off one of the UK's most watched talk shows live on air, leaving behind a shaken crew, stunned audience, and a flurry of red lights blinking on cameras still rolling. Within minutes, the incident was trending across social media platforms. Hashtags like #HarryWalksOff, #Graham vs Harry, and hashtag Royal Showdown were climbing to the top of Twitter and TikTok. Videos from the audience, taken during the commercial break, began surfacing online, showing the exact moment Harry stood up and removed his mic. The expressions, shock, confusion, discomfort, on the faces of the other guests sitting on the couch told the whole story. Public opinion was instantly divided. One camp defended Harry fiercely, praising him for standing his ground and calling out what they believed was another example of the British media attempting to frame him unfairly. He was asked to speak honestly, then punished when he did. One viral tweet read, "How many more times does Harry have to explain himself?" On the other hand, critics labeled his behavior unprofessional and overly dramatic. If you agree to do press, you need to expect tough questions. Storming off proves nothing but entitlement, another post argued. The tabloids were quick to pounce. The Daily Mail ran the headline, "Royal Rage, Prince Harry abandons Norton interview in shocking on-air walk-off." The Sun followed up with, "Ginger Storm, Prince loses his cool on live TV." By sunrise, every major news outlet in the UK, and many abroad, had weighed in. By mid-morning, Buckingham Palace released a rare statement. "The Duke of Sussex's media engagements are conducted independently. We have no involvement or comment on his public appearances." While brief, the message made it clear, Harry was on his own. Even Graham Norton, usually known for sidestepping controversies with a quick joke or clever one-liner, addressed the situation on his Instagram later that night. He posted a photo of his iconic red sofa with a short caption, "Live TV. It doesn't always go as planned. Wishing Prince Harry peace in his journey, always." Behind the scenes, sources close to the production revealed more details. Harry's team had given us a list of topics not to touch, one producer claimed anonymously. But Graham didn't technically break any of those rules. He asked the questions millions of people are already asking. The moment got heated, yes, but no one expected that reaction. Harry, for his part, retreated to his hotel suite in central London and remained out of the public eye for the rest of the week. Insiders said he was deeply disappointed by how the appearance had turned out and felt ambushed by the tone of the interview. Meghan Markle, watching the live feed from their Montecito home, was reportedly furious and in tears after seeing how quickly the discussion escalated. In California, American news outlets took a different tone. Morning shows like Good Morning America and The View debated whether British talk shows were inherently more combative than their U.S. counterparts. In America, that walk-off would have been a mic drop moment, one panelist said. In Britain, it's a scandal. Interestingly, public support for Harry surged in some demographics. Younger viewers and online activists rallied behind him, calling the incident a perfect example of the emotional toll of being constantly scrutinized. Mental health advocates echoed his frustration, saying his walk-off sent a powerful message about setting boundaries, even in high-pressure situations. Yet despite the support, the damage had already rippled across his carefully curated image. Publicists warned that the incident could affect future interviews, particularly in the UK. Brands and networks grew cautious, quietly debating whether booking Harry might now come with more risk than reward. But if Harry had hoped to come home and rewrite his public narrative through honest dialogue, the opposite had happened. His attempt to connect had instead reopened old wounds, and not just with the media. By the end of the week, the entire ordeal had taken on a mythic quality. Memes, reaction videos, celebrity impersonations, and late-night comedy bits all milked the moment. It wasn't just an interview gone wrong, it was the latest chapter in the ongoing royal media saga. In the end, Harry's walk-off became more than a viral moment. It became a symbol of a deeper clash, between modern vulnerability and traditional decorum, between truth-telling and media framing, and between a prince still redefining himself, and a world that